Just in case you weren't awake, I did a bit of a energy thing right there where you just fucking awoke. Anyways, you might have not been loud enough, might have not been suited for your specific awakening, but as the Zen masters know, there's no one way to awaken or not awaken, because any moment is an opportunity to pay attention to where you are and who you are, and from there build on and figure out where you want to be and who you want to be. So we talked about authenticity in the last video, and I just want to say, those of you who have taken into action, like taken time and made a specific time of the day so that you can find that inner voice. And if you go through the video, you'll find the steps that I'm talking about. But yeah, if you did that, fucking shout out to you, trooper, warrior, taking a step outside of your comfort zone and growing a little bit from it, no matter what the result. And you have to realize that if it took a long time to create the frame that you look through in life right now, because everything has changed and molded you, but it's all been the influences, and now you have a choice. Now you can choose what those influences are, now that you know what people you want to bring in your life, what kind of things you want to surround yourself with, but also you know the steps to get to that silence where you find your true being, your truest expression, your truest connection through your body, through yourself, through existence and everything, right? But so today we're going to talk about frames, because frames are very important. Once you hit that silence and you cultivate that silence and act from that silence that we talked about in the last video, the authenticity video. So frames become very important, mostly really for yourself, but it also can be used in as a persuasion tactic. As many of the top elite guys, they use framing in like the most stealth ways you could ever imagine. But yeah, I actually learned one from Donald Trump, who is not the most politically intelligent man, but he knows how to get people following him, and he knows how to get people moving and getting shit done. So that's, I don't validate him completely, because yeah, he could do better in terms of like bringing more innovation in terms of like the way things are run, but he does bring a certain edge to his action that makes him a very persuasive man. And framing is one of the ways that he uses it. I'm going to tell you how to use framing, not to manipulate someone else, but to get the most out of who you want to be, the badass, the motherfucking king or queen that you want to be, right? Because that's what it's really all about. Who cares about anyone else anyways? It's all about you and filling yourself up with things that make you feel that bliss of life and love that is all around you, and it's an opportunity, right? That's what it's all about. Getting that filled with that your internal bliss, and then radiating that and attracting the people that feed your bliss and feeding each other's bliss then, because it's not, you're not asking for something, but you're giving because you're overflowing, right? So this is how you get the most out of that bliss that comes out of the inner silence, and it's framing. Because all day you're perceiving something as being what it is because of a previous preconception that you want. But the thing is, people don't tell you, or they might tell you, but they don't make an example of it. So think about last time you went to a party, if you're old enough to go to parties. If you're not, then you probably shouldn't be watching this, but you're gonna get some value anyways, so I don't know, it's up to your parents. I don't have any but anyways, so so you last time you went to a party or some sort of event, some sort of get together, have you ever noticed that there was someone always who has this perspective about the party that is great? They're like, oh yeah, the party, yeah, right. And then there's this other person who walks out of the party and they're like, oh no, that party was bunk, man. This party was a fucking shit show, like, you know. But then there's the person who was like, fuck, that party was fucking awesome. And it's the same party. It's the same event, it's the same get together, but two people had different perspectives about it. And Buddha has a great story. He talks about a prince who got a bunch of his servants to gather around with blindfolds. They blindfolded them and they got them together, and then they told him to touch what was in front of them. And they were all in the same room facing the same object. And one said, oh, it feels like a pillar. Another said, oh, it feels kind of like a tree. Oh, it feels like some sort of basket. It feels like some sort of like instrument. And so then afterwards, they took all the blindfolds away and they saw what was in front of them. But before they saw it, they were asked, and they were like, oh, well, they said the things, right? But when they saw it, it was an elephant that they had been standing in front of the whole time. And that's just how life is sometimes. There's one thing that happens and there's many perspectives, but unless you take into account all perspectives, you're not going to get that thing that you want. And just the same power applies to the clarity of who you want to be, because you decide what stories you tell about yourself. What if instead of telling yourself that why does this always happen to me? Because I've been there. Why does this always happen to me? Why, instead of asking yourself that question, you ask yourself, why is it so awesome that I'm taking the lesson from this, choosing to invest in myself and learn things that will help me grow in that area? Because everything is a muscle, and I realize, why do I realize that? And why do I just set time aside, work on developing that skill, and getting better at it? What do you know? Everything is a practice. You have to want to do it to spend the time with it. That's and you got to frame yourself as always. We've been talking about this whole time from the beginning as like the secret of Alexander the Great from like the first videos. And it's about the vision that you have of yourself is really a frame that you're looking through. But in everyday life, you're also placing frames, and those frames add up. And the more that you interpret things in a positive way, the more that you're going to come out winning in the end. And that is just another secret of the awakened elite. Now, use it wisely, use it for good things, maybe some bad things, always connected from the heart, because we always enjoy a little mischief, don't we? But we always got to keep it connected to the heart. Always create win-win situations for yourself and for others. And peace.